Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now if you're even mildly online, you've likely been swept up in the tidal wave of frankly insane rumors that Vance, yes Vance, somehow assassinated the Pope. Look, we're not here to tell you what to believe, but it's important to remember that accusing someone of papal murder is a pretty big swing, even for the internet. Right now, this story is less whodunit and more did anyone actually it. We're talking accusations flung around like confetti at a particularly litigious parade. What we have are questions and frankly more of them than answers. But fear not, dear viewers, because that's precisely why we're here. Over the next few minutes we're going to dive headfirst into this nonsensical abyss, examining the origins of this bonkers story, sifting through the digital breadcrumbs and yes, even attempting to understand the psychology behind why people gravitate towards conspiracy theories like moths to a porch light, or perhaps moths to a very specifically positioned papal candle. So, just so you know, this is a follow-up video to the breaking news that's been circulating everywhere. We definitely need more investigation, and honestly, a lot more evidence before anyone can draw any real conclusions. Plus, we'll get into some of the more interesting facts about why these rumors even started in the first place. So, how did we get here? How did we, as a society, collectively decide that a junior senator from Ohio was somehow capable of, let's be honest, a pretty impressive feat of international subterfuge? Well, buckle up, because the origins of this rumor are about as clear as a glass of Pope-blessed holy water after a herd of toddlers has used it for a slip and slide. It appears this whole thing started as so many beautiful disasters do on Twitter, a satirical news account known for its, shall we say, creative interpretations of current events, posted a completely fabricated story about Vance and the Pope having a disagreement over, of all things, Ohio State football. Naturally, this spiraled into accusations of Vance employing the Buckeye defense, which for the uninitiated has nothing to do with defensive linebackers and everything to do with, well, let's just say it's not something you'd find in the Vatican gift shop. And thus, a rumor was born. Now, you might be thinking surely Vance, a man who fancies himself a straight talker, a man of the people, would address this head-on, right? Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? And yet, his response has been about as satisfying as a communion wafer during a famine. Vance has remained remarkably tight-lipped about the whole affair, offering only a cryptic tweet about fake news and the importance of verifying sources. Which, okay, fair enough, except when you consider that this is the same man who once tweeted that he couldn't verify that the Earth is round. So, forgive us if we take his pronouncements on media literacy with a Vatican-sized grain of salt. The real question is, why the silence? Is it a calculated move by his PR team hoping the whole thing blows over? Or is Vance simply too busy plotting his next move, perhaps involving a particularly ornate candlestick? Ah, social media. That glorious digital landscape where facts go to die and rumors flourish like invasive plant species. This entire debacle wouldn't exist without the unholy trinity of the internet, misinformation, outrage, and honestly, an alarming number of people who genuinely believe the Pope is an immortal lizard person. From Twitter threads to Facebook groups with names like Vance Exposed, the Papal Edition, this story has metastasized faster than a virus in a petri dish filled with Red Bull and regret. Memes abound, of course, because the internet just can't resist a good meme, especially when it involves a politician they already love to hate. And let's not forget the experts. You know, the ones, armchair detectives armed with nothing but Wi-Fi and way too much time on their hands, dissecting blurry security camera footage from the Vatican like they're the Zapruder film. It's enough to make you long for the days when the most scandalous thing the Pope did was wear a funny hat. Here's the thing about conspiracy theories, they thrive in the absence of facts. Actual, verifiable evidence? That's for squares. Give these folks a whiff of something that confirms their biases, and they'll cling to it tighter than a cardinal to his hat collection. So far, what we have is a whole lot of speculation and a distinct lack of, proof. No murder weapon, unless you count Vance's voting record, which is debatable. No eyewitnesses, and perhaps most importantly, no dead Pope. The Vatican has predictably denied the rumors, releasing a statement that the Pope is alive, well, and slightly concerned about the uptick in Ohio State memorabilia sales within the Swiss Guard. But of course, for the true believers, this is just further evidence of a cover-up. The Vatican? In cahoots with a politician? Shocking, I say. Look, it's easy to laugh at this, to dismiss it as the ramblings of the internet's basement dwellers. But the truth is, there's a reason these stories gain traction. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, conspiracy theories offer a seductive sense of order. They tell us that someone, somewhere, is in control, even if that someone is a power-hungry senator with a penchant for questionable college football allegiances. We crave narratives, explanations that make sense of the senseless. And sometimes the truth is just too mundane, too boring. We want intrigue, we want drama. We want to believe that the Ohio delegation to the Senate is capable of pulling off an international incident that would make Machiavelli blush. Ultimately, the J.D. Vance and Pope saga is a potent reminder that in the age of misinformation, critical thinking is not just a skill, it's a superpower. So, did J.D. Vance actually kill the Pope? Honestly, at this point, who knows? This story has more twists and turns than a game of Twister played on a roller coaster. But here's the thing. Until we have concrete evidence, it's important to avoid jumping to conclusions, no matter how tempting it might be to picture J.D. Vance in an orange jumpsuit that matches his complexion. Remember, the internet is a breeding ground for misinformation, and it's our responsibility to be discerning consumers of information. So, the next time you see a headline that's just too wild to be true, ask yourself, is this real, or is it just the internet doing what the internet does best, being completely and utterly unhinged? For now, the investigation continues, and you can be sure we'll be here following every twist and turn, every papal pronouncement, every cryptic tweet from a certain Ohio senator. So, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join us next time for another deep dive into the abyss of internet absurdity.